The story I'm about to share with you was by far the most intense, scary, and eye-opening experience of my life. My name's Tom, I'm from a little town in the south of England, and I have no military experience. I'm scared of a lot of things. The unknown, the dark, dying. Yet in 2022, I decided that I will be spending my Christmas this year in Ukraine. I ended up staying a lot longer than I initially planned, leaving a safer city in the west and moving to the capital, unfortunately, on a day where they had the worst air raid since the war began. I'll be sharing videos I made whilst on the trip, and also showing you some clips that I've never posted before from a night that was, hands down, the scariest moment of my life. When at 2 a.m, I was woken by the air raid siren, going off to indicate 6 huge Shahed drones flying silently through the night, straight for the location I was in. Before we begin, the reason I was in Ukraine was to raise money and awareness for a charity called Unbroken. You'll be hearing more about them in the video, and I'll leave a link to their website in the description below. When I eventually left Ukraine, I hitchhiked 2,000 kilometers back to London in the harsh winter, sometimes sleeping rough outside in freezing temperatures. That video will be posted after this one, so make sure you're subscribed to not miss it. Let's get into the video. Air traffic above and into Ukraine is of course non-existent, so I had to cross the border overland from Poland, and unsurprisingly, I was the only foreign national on the bus.
My name's Tom and I just arrived in Ukraine. Here's how my first day went. I crossed the Polish border in the early hours of the morning and arrived in Lviv at about 11 a.m. Hopped on the tram, nearly lost my ticket, but then eventually found a seat and made my way to Rynok Square. I then got off and went to go and meet my friend Marta. We had a coffee and a catch-up before making our way to the city hall to meet Lviv's second mayor, a cat called Levchik. I then had a little walk around the city, and it's fascinating seeing how life has adapted during the ongoing war. Power generators are everywhere due to common blackouts.
A few days went by that involved wandering around the city and meeting members of the Ukrainian army, who were incredibly generous and actually gifted me this badge off the sleeves of their uniform. Soon, it was Christmas Day, and I experienced my first air raid siren.
Merry Christmas from Ukraine. This was unlike anything I'd experienced before. First thing in the morning, there was an air raid siren across the city. I got a notification on my phone to find the nearest shelter, so found one in the downstairs basement of a bar. Waited there for a couple of hours. The atmosphere was surprisingly calm, but soon enough we're allowed outside again. Despite everything going on in Ukraine at the moment, Christmas is still Christmas. So I went to a concert, watched a few carols, and got some traditional Ukrainian Christmas food. In this video, you'll see me downstairs in a coffee shop, which was incredible, but it was because there was another siren. But that soon finished, and now I'm just enjoying the Christmas evening. Stay safe, everyone.
It's hard to exactly put into words the feeling that siren gives you. They are in every city centre and strapped to the corners of buildings, and the sound cuts right through you. A few days later, I went to the National Rehabilitation Centre and witnessed the most incredible thing.
My name's Tom. I'm currently in Ukraine, and yesterday I experienced this incredible moment.
Magic. Wow.
I've been in Ukraine for nearly a week, sharing stories of life at the moment, whilst also raising money for Unbroken. Yesterday, I hopped in a taxi with my friend Marta to the hospital where Unbroken is based, at the National Rehabilitation Centre. I was shown around the hospital, shown how everything worked and all the facilities that they have there. And then, all the success stories of people that have been through Unbroken and what they hope it to be in the future. And it was in this small room where I met a 24-year-old girl from Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. After losing part of her arm, she came to Lviv for treatment. And with incredible technology and funds raised through donations, this girl's quality of life can be improved dramatically. Please support Unbroken.
Incredibly moved by what I had just seen, I wanted to offer my help in more ways than just financial aid. And so the next day, this happened.
My name's Tom, I'm currently in Ukraine, and today I donated blood for the first time. It started with a very bright but chilly walk to the blood hospital, where I had no appointment but just communicated with Google Translate to the doctor. He took me in to get my finger pricked. I did a bit more waiting and then got strapped up to the machine, got the doctor to take my photo, and then it was over before I knew it. My arm was a little bit numb, but I got my certificate and left the hospital. Honestly, if you're in the position to be able to donate blood, I recommend it entirely. Follow along for more stories from Ukraine.
Up to this point, the videos had gained traction online and the word was being spread about Unbroken. However, you always get negative comments, and some of the ones on my videos were about me being a paid actor in Ukraine and that the war is fake news and not really happening. Naturally, I was angered by this, having experienced it myself and met so many people directly affected by the war. So I decided to hop on an overnight train to Kyiv, the capital, to show what life was like there. And I couldn't have timed it worse.
My name's Tom, I'm in Ukraine, and today in Kyiv was the most scared I've ever been in my life. It started last night with an overnight train from Lviv to Kyiv. I was in a little cabin with two other guys, and when I eventually got some sleep, I woke up to the rather scary news that the capital city that I was heading into was apparently under imminent attack. I went straight to the nearest shelter where everyone was gathered, and then waited for what felt like ages before I decided to venture outside to get some air when I heard this. Kyiv and the whole of Ukraine were under attack. I went back into the shelter where we were for 4.5 hours, and now this evening we're without power, just a little head torch. I've been living like this for a week, but people have been coping with this for 10 months. Their spirit is phenomenal. Please support Ukraine.
I made that video at the end of the day just before I went to sleep. And then at about 2:20 a.m, I was woken up to air raid sirens going off across the city. I also had a text from my friend Kim, who I'd met earlier that day, telling me it was because 6 drones were flying straight for the capital. He told me they were expected to arrive in about 15 minutes time, and that if I wanted to go and seek shelter at the nearest subway, it was a 10-minute walk away. Sure enough, I threw on some clothes and dashed out the door into the deserted city.
Oh man, this gets the heart racing. It's 2:30 in the morning. Just had an air alert again, and my friends messaged me saying that it's because there's some big old Iranian drones on their way to Kyiv right now. Just trying to get back to a metro station in time.
I eventually found the subway station, which was locked up and in complete darkness.
I made a video earlier on saying it's the most scared I've ever been in my life. This is now. Just being in a deserted capital city. Sticking my head above the parapet looking for anyone. There's no one about.
My friend Kim eventually got through to the subway station by phone and they let me in. I stayed on that platform all night, waiting for the imminent danger to pass before heading back to Lviv the next day. I decided it was finally time for me to leave Ukraine and begin my uncertain journey of hitchhiking back to my front door in London. But before I did that, I wanted to create one more video, almost as a love letter to the incredibly resilient and welcoming people of Ukraine.
Life here in Ukraine is hard, and that's an understatement. My name's Tom, and over the past 10 days I have fallen in love with the beauty and culture of this country. But the thing that's impressed me the most is the people. Their spirit and resilience is incredible. Without doubt, this war has devastated the country, but people carry on with their lives, embracing every moment, having coffee with friends and dancing in the streets. The people I've met, the stories I've heard, and the things I've seen will stay with me for life. My 10 days here have been just a drop in the ocean compared to the 10 months that millions of Ukrainians have endured. I truly hope that peace is brought soon to this beautiful, beautiful nation. Embrace your loved ones, stay safe, and see you soon.
That was all over a year ago, and it's still going on. Today, the war enters its 3rd year. I've left a link to Unbroken in the description below. Please do go and have a look at the work they're doing, and thank you for watching.